Hey everybody, Uncle Rich here for Who's Telling the Truth. Guys, this is today's date is April 13th, 2050, and this is show number 90, and the name of the show is Ohmconnect. I know, you're gonna say, Rich, what's Ohmconnect? Guys, this is the one show where you can actually tune in, and tonight we're gonna teach you how to save money on your electric bill. And guys, you don't have to jump through hoops. You don't have to do any fancy schmancy stuff. All you need is your phone and your electric bill. And guys, you can start saving today. It doesn't cost you anything. We're gonna show you exactly how everything works tonight. You'll be able to actually sign on tonight. And I think, guys, we've always talked about, how there has to be a new business model. And earlier we talked about the grid, and I love to use this word because the next thing I'm gonna tell you sounds counterintuitive. And I love using that because it makes me sound like a genius, counterintuitive. But guys, this is counterintuitive, and the idea is to get the utilities to make more money by selling you less electricity. So you're gonna say, Rich, they're gonna sell me less, but they're gonna make more money? Exactly. And that's why tonight we're gonna explain how it works, and when you see everything, you're gonna go, wow. And guys, you don't even have to get out of your seat. You don't have to get off your butt. All you need is your electric bill and your phone, and we'll show you how to do everything. And like I said, this is gonna be the new business model. And guys, we gotta give a shout out to our buddy Kurt, our sound man. Kurt, hope everything is going. I spoke to him today and he sounds terrific, but we miss you, we need you. So if there's any screw ups tonight, we're gonna have to blame it on Kurt. But guys, the first thing, on tonight's show, the lion's share of the show is gonna go to Ohmconnect. But we're also going to show you the Crescent Dunes, which is in Nevada. And this is a solar plant that works 24 hours a day. And guys, when you see this, you're going to love it. But the first thing we got to do is we got to give a shout out, because on April 15th at 4:15, there's going to be a rally at the Danbury Public Library. So remember, that's going to be in 2 days, 4:15 at 4:15. So we're going to play a little clip now, and this is from WTNH. This is local. So Judy, let's have the first clip. Hit it.
Legislators and mayors rallying in Hartford today
a little
in
volume
support of a minimum wage bill.
Beautiful.
It is all part of a national movement called Fight for 15. That bill would fine large employers with 500 or more workers who pay less than $15 an hour.
Every company who has 500 employees or more to pay $1 an hour for everyone who's not making that, to kick into a fund, and that money would be put into a fund to offset some of the subsidies that we give the people that are working for them. Child care, home health care, early childhood development, and those types of things.
Senator Moore, who you just heard from, is the sponsor of that bill. Fast food workers, home health care workers, and other low earners are planning to rally at the state capitol next week in support of that measure.
Guys, I've got one thing to say on this issue, and it's really simple. Anybody that works full-time in this country, anybody, deserves to be paid a living wage. It's that simple, guys. Time to stop exploiting our fellow Americans. And you're going to find that by paying people more, Not only do you stimulate the economy locally, but it works out better for everybody. And you're going to see, because what happens is, once people start getting paid a living wage, guess what? They don't need food stamps anymore. They don't need subsidies. They don't need housing. They don't need all this stuff. And what'll happen is we'll actually start saving more money as a group. Simple the way it works. Uh-oh, my buddy Joe called me. Hey, Joe. Joe, you couldn't have called me at a better time. We're on the air right now.
Oh, okay, I'll talk to you.
Well, you got to put on channel 23, Joe. We're on right now.
Oh, okay, 23 on, how about on the radio?
On the radio? No, we're not that advanced yet. You got to go to Comcast channel 23. I got to go, Joe. I got thousands of people watching right now. I can't hold them up.
Okay, I'll see it, man. I'm not on the air, am I?
Yeah, you're on the air.
No, I'm not.
Without Joe, you're on the air. You can watch. We repeat the show Sunday at 10 o'clock in the morning. Guys, this is.
I'm not talking on the air, am I?
Well, you're on the air. Hey, guys, you need a house built? My buddy Joe will take care of you. Good work. Nice guy. I've worked with him for about 20 years. He's a good man. All right. So anyway, Joe, I'll talk to you, buddy. Take care.
Okay.
All right. Now, so guys, that's kind of funny how that worked. But now we're going to show you, when people say, corporations can't afford it. Judy, can we show the next still so that we'll show that they're wrong? Guys, look at this. McDonald's in Australia pays their people $16 an hour. The price of a Big Mac is $4.47. In the United States, people get paid $7.25 an hour, and the price of a Big Mac is $4.62. Judy, can you come back to me? And you'll notice at the bottom, guys, that was in US dollars. What is so different about the business plan in Australia than it is in America? What's the problem? Why does all the money in America go to the shareholders instead of the people that make the money? When are we going to start to redistribute the wealth to the people that earn it? And guys, Joey and I have been around the block on this, and the next still we're going to show you. Joe, if there's one thing I love to do, it's put salt in the wound. So Judy, let's take a look at this next chart. And guys, this is what Obamacare has done for the uninsured people in the United States. In quarter one of 2013, you'll notice that the uninsured was almost 18% of the population. Guys, in just a year? We're down to 11.9. Judy, you want to come back to me? So, Joe, regardless of what you hear on Fox News and hate radio, it's working, kid. And why is it working? Because we're into a bigger pool. The insurance companies learn to spread the risk. That's what insurance is for. It's not a government takeover. It's all private corporations that are still making money. They're just not making as much as they used to. Sorry. And a guy like you, a guy like Joe, you'd think he said, hey, I don't care about the corporations. But guys, he's a working class fool. He doesn't have a pot to pee in, but yet he wants to make sure that the 1% get more than they deserve. And that's why we have to change the business model. And guys, on the last show, we gave the business to the Scientologists. And we did, we called the show Going Clear. And guys, I was able to watch the entire movie on HBO. And HBO has a new service called HBO Go. And guys, I was able to put it up on my computer. I watched the movie. Yeah, I think you have to be an HBO subscriber. But I tell you, it blew me away. The movie blew me away. And right now, what we're going to do first is we're going to show you a clip from Kirstie Alley. And guys, this is part of the clip, and we're going to play it so that you can listen to what she has to say. So, Judy, let's have that short clip.
When you decide to blanket statement that
We had no
Scientology
volume
is
out here,
evil,
Judy.
you are my enemy.
Can we do that? Can we play it again and make sure I got volume?
When you decide to blanket statement that Scientology is evil, you are my enemy.
Okay. Just one more time, because I want everybody to hear this clearly and distinctly.
When you decide to blanket statement that Scientology is evil, you are my enemy.
Now, guys, we're going to play the entire clip from ABC, because that's what we do. We want to find, we don't want to take it out of context. Say, Rich, you really gave us the double reverse. So we're going to show you the entire clip. And then I'm going to tell you some stuff that's really, I'm telling you, it's going to upset you. But if that's what we have to do to end this menagerie of buffoonery, and believe me, that's what Scientology is. It's a menagerie of buffoonery. And when you see these poor son of a bitches, and that's the only thing I could say. I mean, these guys are walking zombies. They're the walking dead. And if you guys want to have some fun, go on YouTube and look up the angry gay pope. I'm telling you, you'll have such a kick out of it. And all right, so now we're going to play the full clip. And so, Judy, let it run.
Prominent celebrity Scientologist Kirstie Alley lashing out at fellow star Leah Remini, quote, calling her a bigot for attacking other people's religious faith. Alley says that is just plain wrong. ABC's Dan Harris has the story.
Since leaving Scientology over the summer, Leah Remini has been vocally critical of her former faith, and now she is getting public blowback from Kirstie Alley, a proud and active Scientologist who appeared on the Howard Stern show on Wednesday.
When you decide to blanket statement that Scientology is evil, you are my enemy.
Specifically, Alley, who credits Scientology with getting her off of cocaine and vastly improving her life, seems to be upset by comments like the one Remini made on The View 2.5 weeks ago after being eliminated from Dancing with the Stars.
You went through another journey, and you've been open about leaving the Church of Scientology. Have there been repercussions at all?
Yes, many repercussions, but I think the one that I think people can relate to is the shunning, because I don't think everybody knows that that's what is required when you leave, that friends and family members, mothers and daughters, that is what is required, and so that is heartbreaking. You can no longer have relations with
They
can no longer have relationships with me, my family, so I don't get to see my godkids, friends that we've known for 30, 40 years.
I just want everyone to know, I have hundreds of friends and people that I know that have come into Scientology and left Scientology. It is not true that you can come into Scientology. You're not shunned. You're not chased. All that shit's.
For its part, the church has always publicly asserted that it's up to individual members whether they want to stay in touch with people who have left the faith. Alley also says she has blocked Remini on Twitter.
Yeah, because she's a bigot.
We reached out to Remini's publicist, who had no comment. For Good Morning America, Dan Harris, ABC News, Detroit.
Guys, when you leave Scientology, it's like you died. I mean, your family stays in the organization, and they're disconnected from you. I'm telling, when you start, I spent almost a whole week watching this. I was dumbfounded. I said, this can't be possible. And when you watch it, you start going, holy mackerel. But anybody that doesn't agree with them is a suppressive person. And when you're a suppressive person, you become fair game. And that's why when Kirstie Alley said, when you decide to blanket statement that Scientology is evil, you are my enemy. Guys, she's not kidding. Because if you look up fair game under Scientology, Fair game is a person may be deprived of property or injured by any means by any Scientologist. They may be tricked, sued, or lied to, or destroyed. Hello?
Hi. We talked a little bit earlier. You said you wanted me to call in.
How are you? What do you think of the show so far?
Well, I think you're doing the same thing as Scientology is.
Okay, how am I doing
I
that?
don't mind your views, but the way you present them, I find a bit offensive, because for you to be right, the way you present your views is I have to be totally wrong. I think there's some place in the middle.
No, there isn't. Whenever it comes to an equation or a solution, there's
I'm a mathematician by trade.
What's that?
Don't talk to me about the absolutes of math.
Well, here's the thing. One side is always wrong.
No.
So who do you? No, no. We're not going to play this game. We're not going to play the little baby game where you get to talk about an invisible friend in the sky, and I'm going to respect you for it.
I haven't mentioned an invisible friend.
No, but the thing, this is what we're going to get around to. And with Scientology, let me tell you something. These people are evil. They're evil.
They very well could be.
And the primary purpose, the primary purpose why I do this show is to find out who's telling the truth. And let me tell you something. The people in Scientology aren't even bald-faced liars. They're worse than that. And I tell you what, I'm not going to give them an inch of slack. And I'm not going to let them hide behind the faith card, because those days are over. And you know, these poor bastards, they won't even let these simple folk on the internet. Why? Because
what
you've
got to do is, when I say there's a middle ground, I don't say you have to give up your ground. The way you present your ground has to be clear, concise, not loaded with words that I might find, or I do find, offensive.
If you find it offensive, too bad. And I'm not being mean. I'm being honest, because the days of playing games are over.
Don't confuse honesty with being exact. Your honesty is clouded in, you call people baboons and other words. Leave that vocabulary out. Just say, I disagree with what you said. What is your premise for saying it? In a very calm voice.
Okay, let me say this as calmly as I possibly can.
Okay.
There is no more room for playing games.
I'm not playing games.
There isn't two sides to the story. There's one side to the story, and that's the end of that.
What?
But the thing is,
side of the story?
What's that?
What is your side of the story?
Well, I'm trying to present my case here. So what we're going to do is we're going to get back to it. If you would like to call back, we'd love to have you. But let us proceed now, because we're going to move ahead and we're going to show you. And what happens is, with these guys from Scientology, like I said, they'll go out of their, let me repeat that so that we're going to hang this phone call up. And let me repeat what they said once again. And this is what fair game means, guys. And if you go against Scientology, you're fair game. I would be fair game. But the thing is, they've got so many things going on with them right now. I hope that they don't continue to exist. And the most important thing that I hope is that they lose their tax exemption. Because why should they pay no tax when they're promoting this bull? So let me repeat what fair game is. A person may be deprived of property or injured by any means, by any Scientologist. They may be tricked, sued, or lied to, or destroyed. If you're a Scientologist, that's your objective in life. Anybody that doesn't agree with you, destroy them. And guys, they would probably come after me. But we're going to show you a clip from HBO, and HBO went after them, and guess what HBO did? They went out and they secured 160 lawyers. HBO got 160 lawyers because they knew what Scientology was going to do. And Scientology had the longest lawsuit against Time magazine. It lasted over 10 years. And they lost every step of the way. But they don't care because all they want to do is haunt people and go after them. I'll tell you, the one thing that was good about the Nazis, that which the Scientologists don't. When you went against the Nazis, they killed you. It was over and done with. When you leave Scientology, the misery just starts. They hound you. They come after you. They follow you around. Oh, these guys are evil. And what's happened is the tide has turned so much now. Nobody will defend them anymore. John Travolta and Tom Cruise should be hanging their head in shame. We just showed you what Kirstie Alley did. She's a sick pup. When you start to think that people are your enemies, you're a sick pup. And these are people that have been brainwashed. They're like the conservatives. You know, the people that they believe in things that don't exist, and they can't accept what's real. Like global warming. Judy's telling me to be easy. My wife must be going crazy. All right, guys. But now we're going to show you HBO and the guy that made Going Clear happen, and the guy that decided to take the bull by the horns and give the old bada bing to the Scientologists. So, Judy, hit it.
Any private legal threats from the church?
No.
You've been getting so much attention lately for documentary programming. Going Clear, the Scientology doc, was one of the biggest you've had in a decade. What has been the legal and otherwise fallout for HBO? I mean, Scientology has a history of coming after its critics and attacking. So,
yeah, look,
anything happen here?
I think that, Lawrence wrote an unimpeachable book. Alex did a brilliant job with the documentary. Facts are stubborn things, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but they're not entitled to their own facts. And I think the documentary bears up very well to any kind of scrutiny. And Alex is a magnificent documentary filmmaker and a great storyteller. And I think that's one of the reasons that the film did so well and will continue to do well. Because remember, even though we did an extraordinary number on its premiere night, that will cume up, as you well know, over the coming weeks to reach millions and millions of people, which is one of the added value propositions of HBO, right? You can watch it not just on premiere night, you can watch it anytime you want on demand, you can watch it on HBO Go, and now you'll be able to watch it on HBO Now.
Any private legal threats from the church?
No.
No?
No.
Guys, I would love to see them go after HBO. But like I said, when you find out about David Miscavige, and I almost want to call him David Miscarriage, because he's turned this thing into such an abortion. And I mean, guys, that's all you can say. These people are evil. And I mean, just go on YouTube. Just go, and guys, I mean, when you see the amount of people that have left the organization, just watch the movie. And you're going to see, and guys, if you can believe anything you want to believe. If you want to believe in ghosts, you want to believe in UFOs, believe in anything you want. That's fine. But don't ask me to be able to take a tax exemption. No, because those days are over. We're only going to give you an exemption for something that's real. Hello, you're on.
Yes, I'm back. I just have a question for you.
Sure.
And all I want to do is take the conversation, which I think is what you're doing is very valuable, and just give it another housing for the moment. Let's take it out of the realm of have anything to do with what people would call a religious foundation. Let's just take that out of the equation, as you like to put it, for a moment. Let's say the framework that we're talking about is town government. And my question to you is, within a town government, I can still put the principles of good and evil. And right now, that's where I find myself and have for the last 4 years. Where town government is against me, so guess what? I call them evil.
How is the town government against you?
Well, I have exposed, and we're in litigation in court against an institution in the town where I live, that they have been found guilty of Medicare fraud. They want me to go away. In fact, my nickname now is Snowden. I took the matter to the town government. Nobody would listen. I took my situation to various boards and commissions in our town. Nobody would listen.
Okay, why don't we do that?
I had stealing going on in my house. I went to the police, stamped on the thing I supplied with an attorney, do not investigate. As of September 24th, this will be our first day in court. And within this town, we are going to see a major, eye-opening adventure.
Okay, let's do this. Why don't you contact me on Facebook?
I don't have a computer.
Okay, well, let's try to get in touch somehow. And what I'd like to do...
Marty has my number.
Okay. If you've got a legitimate beef that I can present on the show, I'll do it for you. How's that sound?
Well,
I'm that type of guy. But listen, I got to cut you short because we have to forge ahead because we still have a lot to go. But Dorothy, get in touch with me, and if what you say is true, and if we can find out who's telling the truth, I'd be more than happy to do it.
Oh,
take
it
care.
would be an eye-opener. But get my number from Marty.
Okay, Dorothy, take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye. All right, so guys, things will work out. And if she's got a legitimate beef, guess what? I'm the beef master. I'll go to bat for her, no problem. And I mean, you guys see what I do on the show. So I mean, you don't want to mess around here. And especially if we can prove it. Because if we can prove it, we don't stop. We're like a bunch of bulldogs, pit bulls. All right, so anyway, now we're going to come to the part of the show that we hope we're all going to learn something. And guys, once again, this is about changing the business model. And when you see how this works, I think you're going to be impressed and you're going to be blown away. Now, the first version we're going to show is the Uncle Joe version. It's the cartoon version. Uncle Joe, I had to get that in. Everybody knows I love Uncle Joe, but if I don't give him the business, it wouldn't be a regular show. So anyway, we're going to play this first clip, and this will give you an idea. This is an introduction to Ohmconnect. So guys, we're going to play the first one, and then we'll talk about it. So Judy, hit it.
Meet Adam. He's an environmentally conscious person who'd like to reduce his footprint.
Volume.
He could get solar panels, a thermostat from the future, and smart appliances, but who has the money for that? What if he could reduce his carbon footprint while making some money at the same time? Introducing Ohmconnect, your home's energy management tool. Ohmconnect is software that turns your home into a virtual power plant. You can actually sell your electricity consumption back to the grid. No solar panels or hardware is required. Here's how it works. First, Ohmconnect notifies you when energy prices are spiking and dirty power plants are turning on. Second, you turn off a light or two. Third, you get paid for your reduction. Ohmconnect also analyzes your home's energy consumption, shows you where your energy comes from, and tracks your energy improvements, winner of the Department of Energy's American Energy Data Challenge. Join Ohmconnect today at www.ohmconnect.com/sign-up.
Guys, sounds too good to be true, doesn't it? But now, if you go to www.ohmconnect.com, sign up. We can do this while we're on the air. So Judy's in the control room, and the next clip is a 2.5-minute one, but on the longer clip, the one after that is going to be a 10-minute. We're going to try to sign up. And guys, while you're watching the clip, why doesn't everybody try to sign up as well? And, look, I don't know if you're going to, if this is going to put you in a different tax bracket. But if you save any money, and if you're doing stuff that helps the grid, you got to be foolish not to do it, don't you? All right, so the second clip is a little bit more involved, and then we're going to really hit you with the heavy stuff. But just pay attention and try to sign up. So Judy, hit it.
Based on Ohmconnect's success in the previous round of the Energy Challenge, we decided to build the application out fully. Users only need to enter their utility username and their password. They're then brought to a household disaggregation page where they can see their refrigeration use, their household heating, their TV and computers, hot water heating, and also vampire loads, and how this varies over time. They can also see what their costs and carbon footprint are for all these activities. Now, the purpose of Ohmconnect is to bring residential demand response into the mainstream. So to facilitate that, we've built an energy map. And this energy map showcases a home, so this is my home in San Francisco, where their energy is coming from, whether it's a gas power plant, that's probably 45% of my power, or some environmentally friendly ones up north. Now, we particularly focus in on this peaker plant in the North Bay. So when a user pledges to reduce, they receive an email, SMS text notification, or a push notification to reduce when this peaker plant is about to turn on, so they can participate in demand response programs. Now, you can see when a person actually reduces, they start to accrue some additional points. So if I click on these points in the upper right-hand corner, a user can see how many points they've accrued over all time, how they compare to their neighbors, then also a calendar, which shows their level of demand response participation and over any given time period. Now, remember, this is demand response, so we're aggregating these reductions at a community residential level, which is why we focused in on that neighborhood aspect. And when we bid these reductions into any ISO, into any independent system operator system, Ohmconnect gets paid for bidding that capacity in. And then Ohmconnect, we pay out our users directly and commensurate with their participation in demand response. So these points correlate to cash. So you just need to click on cash out, connect to his PayPal account, and they get paid. This is Ohmconnect. Hope you've enjoyed it, and let us know if you have any questions. Thanks.
Do you have a question? Boy, did you come to the right place. Guys, I think it's pretty simple. And the next clip is going to show you why it's like anything else. You can only get people's attention for so long. So you've got to set this stuff up in your phone, and then hopefully the appliances and everything else will all be run according to, I'm telling you, these are the answer. And the next clip, I tell you, they lay everything out in detail, and you'll really get an idea, of how the business model is going to change. And you'll see, once you watch this clip, the light will go on, and it all makes sense, and you'll say, you know what? I want to save some money, but I want to help other people save, because you're saving as a group. When you all get together and you save as a group. And Joey, I hate to say this, but there's socialistic tendencies in doing everything socially as a group. And I know that drives you nuts. And I know you think we're not a socialized country, but you know, every week when you get paid, when you see Social Security, you know, on your pay stub, you know, we're the greatest socialized country that ever existed. We got $2 trillion in Social Security's account. I mean, it works. It works just like Obamacare is working, you know? Time to stop swimming upstream. Oh, and guys, I got one more thing I want to thank Uncle Joey for. You know, I always say when it comes to global warming, he's got to stop swimming upstream. Now I'm going to add one more thing to it. Joe, you got to stop running against the wind. And I mean, so stop swimming upstream and stop running against the wind. And now we're going to show you how you can make money by using renewable energy. So we're going to let you cut your nose off to spite your face. So Judy, hit us with the next one.
Next up is Ohmconnect.
Volume?
Meet Adam. Adam wants to reduce his carbon footprint, but he doesn't know how to. Luckily, Adam's discovered Ohmconnect. Ohmconnect is a platform that coaches Adam when to reduce his electricity and then pays him for it. Adam only needs two things to log in, his utility username and his utility password. So anyone who pays for their electricity can log into Ohmconnect today. Ohmconnect hooks into Adam's smart meter data to show him where his energy is coming from, whether it's hot water, refrigeration, vampire loads, gas heating, or computers and tablets. He sees how that changes over time, and he notices in early December, he was using more gas heating than normal. That's because it was abnormally cold in SF. He can also track his carbon footprint and his cost over time as well. He wants to learn more, so he clicks on the plug load devices and sees how he's consumed over a given day. He notices he uses more in the morning than in the afternoon, and he notices a blinking red light at 8 p.m. That's when the electricity grid is strained and a dirty diesel power plant needs to turn on for supply to meet demand. You can see that the carbon footprint of that plant is much higher than any other hours, but the cost dwarfs all other hours. Adam thinks, how does this affect me and where is this plant? So he clicks on the energy map and he sees where his energy is coming from. His home is the blue icon in San Francisco, and he sees a bunch of different lines which represent electricity flowing from various power plants into his home. He sees red coal and gas power plants and green wind, biomass, solar power plants flowing into his home. But he notices that dirty diesel power plant we alluded to earlier. It's a 2-megawatt plant in Napa, and it's not currently running. But he doesn't want it to turn on, so he clicks Pledge to Reduce. When he does this, Ohmconnect will send him a notification to turn down, and if he does, Ohmconnect will pay him for it. Now, you may be wondering, how does Ohmconnect pay Adam to reduce his electricity? Now, this gets a little technical, but bear with us. Adam, like all of us, gets his energy from the utilities. But where do the utilities get their energy? They get it from the energy markets. And these energy markets, prices are extremely volatile. Prices are usually $40 to $50 per megawatt hour, but 1 or 2 hours a week, these prices spike to $500 to $1,000 per megawatt hour. This is when Ohmconnect sells Adam's reductions into the grid. The energy markets see Adam's reductions as a virtual power plant. So instead of paying to turn on this diesel power plant, they pay Adam to turn down. These energy markets are brand new, and only Ohmconnect has taken that publicly available information and presented it in a way that Adam can understand and act on it. So this is all very complex, but for Adam, it's dead simple. He gets a notification, he turns down a few lights, and he gets paid for it. Now, Adam's a super user, so he's gone ahead and hooked in Ohmconnect to his Wi-Fi thermostats and his home automation devices. So Ohmconnect automatically turns down his AC and his hot water heating as well. So right as these dirty power plants are about to turn on, Adam's already reducing his electricity, and he sees the points in the top right-hand corner start to accrue. So he clicks on that and sees how much he's accrued over all time. how he's performed over the past 3 or 4 months, and what his electricity generation stack looks like. He can cash out these points at any time. Now, Adam's only been on the platform for 4 months. He's already saved 300 pounds of CO2 during these peak times and earned about $8 since the last time he cashed out. So instead of spending money on dirty power and Napa, Adam can now spend it on wine and Napa. So join us and Adam in reducing your carbon footprint, getting paid for it, and taking control of where your energy is coming from. Thank you.
I love this, absolutely. We have big 21st century tragedy of the commons problems that we all face, and energy is going to be one of them. But it's so hard to connect what we do in our daily activities into that bigger picture and how the small shavings add up to a big pile of change. And the more that we can generate awareness around that and make it actionable, the better. Kudos.
Exactly, thank you.
So I agree with that, but the issue is eventually it'll have to become invisible, that these things come into place, that they're self-aware by themselves. I think a lot of those graphs are super interesting to certain amounts of people, but most people can hardly recycle properly. You know what I mean? I mean, so how do you get it to just be automatic, that set some parameters and then it just happens? Or they give you an alert on your phone and say, you know, unplug stuff, don't use it at this hour. I think the easier we make it for people, and this seems like I am interested in this, but I would never look at your, you know, your charts, nor would I care to look at them. And I want to know, just like with wearables right now, they're not actionable. They should say that donut you ate this morning actually made your heart, made your sugar go up, and therefore you should have gotten up right now and done this or eaten an apple. There's not actionable. And so I think a lot of these things are super interesting, but unloading data onto the public, I think, is as much as it raises awareness, is useless on some level.
Right, that's a great point. And we only want them to look at it for the first 2 or 3 minutes, and then we hook up their Nest thermostats, their Honeywell thermostats. We automatically turn them down and start paying them money automatically. So it's all out of sight and out of mind still.
But more than that, like you should unplug, turn off the washing machine, don't do the washing machine right now. Like right. It should tell you, like, it's not going to work until it actually tells people things via these, what to do, right, when you're supposed to do it.
Right. We also do send push notifications specifically for that. So you'll receive an email, you'll receive a text message or a push notification telling you to turn your lights off, or this is an inopportune time to be using energy.
Where do these energy markets, the biddable energy markets exist? Are they nationwide or are they on a state by state?
There's only 6 right now. California ISO is one of them, and it represents all of California. Most of the eastern seaboard and the Midwest are on different markets. New York has one, and Texas also has one.
And how much are you thinking of extending your control of devices? Because it's not just the Nest thermostat, it's the Belkin Wemo, for example. And you could do something maybe through IFTTT to be able to sort of send messages to that, so I could turn the lights down or the space heater off or whatever.
Exactly. So right now we've only hooked up the Tesla electric car, the Belkin Wemo device, and we're looking into Honeywell and Nest thermostats.
Are you guys looking to partner more with PG&E?
So that is an eventual goal of ours. PG&E already has some of these programs in place, but they've had a very poor time engaging consumers, as I'm sure very few of you guys have actually heard of these programs. So we're going first to the consumer and getting them on board before we go to PG&E.
How?
Oh, so we're going to consumers saying, it's a good question. So we're going to consumers that are curious about the environment and want to save that. They also, we're looking at quantified self, so people that care about seeing more information about how they're using energy and other stuff. And we're also looking at small families, or young families, which care about the environment because they have children and they see the future in them.
This is a data junkie's dream, right. All that data. As I saw it, I was like, wow, so much fantastic stuff. Did you say that you needed to actually have a smart meter deployed in the house in order to kind of collect that? So it's an additional device. Is that provided by you guys, or?
The smart meters are actually already installed in all of California residents,
right.
PG&E, SC, and SDG&E. We're just using it for
the data. You're pulling a feed off of that.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Again, aiming. data junkies are fine, but most people are not
I know,
data
but
junkies.
I am, so I would love
this
it.
room, perhaps, but it's not really the demographic of real people in that regard. But going to schools or something where they do, where they could learn something from it, so that it becomes something usual, seems to me. Or because if you're aiming just at data junkies, I think people do it for a minute. And
right.
Just like
we're currently in the Foothill Community College and having them compete in teams to see how they can reduce more than each other.
Yeah, the team aspect is something that the schools in particular have been very interested in, forming kind of within a classroom, and then being able to educate the students on how they can take control of their energy.
Quick poll of the audience. How many people would want to try something like this? How many people would want to try it? Okay, that's almost everybody. So yeah, I mean, this is your earliest of the early adopters, but that's what it's about, right? You want to get them to try, and then maybe trickle down, and then I think Kara's ideas are wise. Just tell them what to do. I think even just saying, use less electricity now, save money, you know. When the coal plant or the gas plant goes on and it's 70 times, or I don't know, was it 100 times more expensive?
Yes.
Why don't we pay 100 times more for our energy?
The utility is trying to go down that direction. They've started with time of use, but right now they simply can't handle that amount of data and pass that information onto the consumers in the real-time format that we can.
Are they going to eventually do that? Because then it would become really in our best interest to do it. If there was surge pricing for electricity, as it were, and you knew it's costing 7x, you're going to turn the dishwasher off immediately.
Absolutely. I see them doing it in 5 to 10 years. We're trying to do it in the next 2.
And all the data on that map you get from open data, where is that from?
Yeah, so these are in the energy markets, and they're publicly available, and we are able to take that and present it in a way that any of us can understand.
Awesome. Let's hear it for Ohmconnect. Well done.
Thank you.
It's amazing what we can do with the internet. I mean, you see where the power is coming from. I mean, it's amazing. And did you see what he said? He said, it pays you or your favorite charity. Well, you know what my favorite charity is? Me. No, but really. But you know what, guys? There might be some people out there that are filthy rich that don't need any extra money. So if anybody types into that thing, and if they want to give a donation to Who's Telling the Truth, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and get one of those certificates or whatever. And who knows? Maybe we can use that to do some advertising, and let's just see what happens. But I think, guys, once again, we're changing the business model. And the next clip we're going to do is from John Cook. And the reason why we're playing this is John Cook runs Skeptical Science, which is a web page. And he's the guy that came out with the 97% figure of the climate scientists writing peer-reviewed studies. So we're going to play this first clip from John Cook so you get a chance to meet him. So Judy, let's have it.
Has skeptical science convinced anyone that global warming is real?
There's been well, I could probably count the examples, anecdotal examples of climate deniers who have been convinced by the evidence on one hand. There's been a few blog posts where there was like, I was a Republican and then I changed my mind on climate change. And it was reading through the evidence on skeptical science that really persuaded me that there's a really compelling case scientifically, that kind of thing. But it actually doesn't happen that often. And there's actually a lot of evidence explaining why, because attitudes about climate change are based in a lot of ways on political ideology. So what political party you vote for has a big influence on what you think about climate change. And that means that you've already formed your views about climate change before you hear the evidence. And then whatever evidence comes at you, you'll ignore the stuff that conflicts with your beliefs and you'll grab onto the stuff that affirms your beliefs. And so no matter how much skeptical science evidence I throw at someone whose political ideology conflicts with that evidence, it's not going to have much of an effect. If anything, it could have a backfire effect. But that's not our target audience with skeptical science. Our target audience is the undecided majority. People who are trying to make sense of all this noise. They're not driven by their political ideology, so that they're open to receiving scientific evidence. And skeptical science isn't about curing science denial. It's really about inoculating the rest of the population, reducing the influence of misinformation on the large majority.
It's about inoculating the rest of the people. And guys, why can't we cure the deniers? The reason is simple. When you see a chart like this, and you deny this chart, we've got nothing to talk about. I mean, we've really got nothing to talk about. Now, I mean, you can't even be skeptical with this chart, because, I mean, if this was a stock, this was a runaway success. You'd be a genius if you bought this stock. But guys, the next clip we're gonna do is from my favorite, Lawrence Krauss. And Lawrence Krauss, he's gonna explain to you about learning, science, and a skilled workforce, and how to talk to deniers. So Judy, hit it.
It amazes me that people have pre-existing notions that defy the evidence of reality, but that they hold on to them so dearly. And one of them is the notion of creationism, or in fact, look, Senator Marco Rubio, who's presumably a reasonably intelligent man, and maybe even educated, was asked, what's the age of the Earth? And ultimately, either because he actually believed it, or he was trying to appeal to some constituency, had to argue that it's a big mystery, that somehow we should teach kids both ideas that the Earth is 6,000 years old and that it's 4.55 billion years old, which is what it is. If you think about that, somehow saying that, well, anything goes, we shouldn't offend religious beliefs by requiring kids to understand reality. That's child abuse. And if you think about it, teaching kids or allowing the notion that the Earth is 6,000 years old to be promulgated in schools is like teaching kids that the distance across the United States is 17 feet. That's how big an error it is. Now you might say, look, a lot of people believe that, so don't we owe it to them to allow their views to be present in school? Well, as I've often said, the purpose of education is not to validate ignorance, but to overcome it. 50% of the people in the United States, when we probe them each year with the National Science Foundation, think that the sun goes around the Earth, not that the Earth goes around the sun. When we ask the question, we provide the question, the Earth goes around the sun and takes a year to do it, true or false? Almost every year, 50% of the people get that wrong. Now, does that mean in schools we should allow the anti-Galilean and Copernican idea that the sun goes around the Earth to be taught? Absolutely not. If in fact, the very fact that people don't know that, and the very fact that enough people are willing to somehow believe the Earth is 6,000 years old, means we have to do a better job of teaching physics and biology, not a worse job. The last thing we want to do is water down the teaching of biology because some people don't recognize that evolution happened. Evolution is the basis of modern biology. And in fact, if a lot of people don't believe it, it only means we have to do a better job teaching it. So once again, I repeat, the purpose of education is not to validate ignorance, but to overcome it. And to overcome a situation where a United States senator can speak such manifest nonsense with impunity is vitally important to the healthy future of our society. Technology and biotechnology will be the basis of our economic future. And if we allow nonsense to be promulgated in the schools, we do a disservice to our students, a disservice to our children, and we're guaranteeing that they will fall behind in a competitive world that depends upon a skilled workforce able to understand and manipulate technology and science.
Dorothy, get the idea, kid? There's always two sides to a story. Only one of them is right. And I'm not going to let people hide behind their faith card, and I'm not going to let them tell their kids that the world is only 6,000 years old. I'm sorry. I can't do it. If you want to do that to your kids, if you want to abuse them, knock yourself out. I want to teach my kids how to tell the truth. It's that simple. Now, the last clip we got, and I'm sorry we kind of ran over, guys, but it's, you know, we always love to talk about how many jobs are being created with renewable energy. And this next clip, we're going to play part of it because you're going to see the people that are actually getting jobs. So, Judy, we'll roll the clip, and then we'll come back, we'll roll the credits, and when we have about 30 seconds left, you'll come back to me so I could say goodbye to everybody. But guys, look at the jobs that this plan is creating. So Judy, hit it.
Here we are at the Crescent Dunes Solar Energy Project in Tonopah, Nevada. This project, which is in the final phases of construction, has been a monumental achievement for establishing solar power as a reliable energy source that can provide electricity day and night. A few years ago, this project was nothing but an idea with a set of plans. Today, the project has come a long way, with the installation of 10,347 heliostats that now surround the tower. By the time the project is completed, over 2 million hours of labor will have been put into this project. But that isn't the full story. Who is making all of this possible? The answer is the men and women on the ground who work around the clock to take this project, which was once just an idea, and make it a reality.
My name's Emily, and I'm a heliostat technician. The best part of my job is being able to do something.
Jobs, 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 jobs. Guys, there's so many jobs being created in solar and wind. We've got so many things to look forward to, and these are good, living wage jobs with benefits. If you know anybody that's looking for work, they can go down to Ross Solar, they can go to Solar City. Guys, there's so much that's being done and so many different ways that we can all benefit with renewable energy. And guys, you saw that we can save you money tonight, and next week we want to see how everybody did. See you next week, guys.